What's your name, King? Devin. My name is Dakar, right? All praises. So, you heard about Christ being black? You ever heard that before? Would you say that this is Christ before today, without the horns?
Yeah.
You would say that? That's because that's an image that has been burned in our brains, right? That's the image our grandmother had on the mantle, right? Something that we looked at. And Christ is what to the world? A savior, right? Why do us as black people look to the white man to be our savior when they have our people in captivity?
Right.
You ever thought about that?
Yeah, because the government, it kind of trained our minds to be like that.
The government changed our mind to be like that, right? And that's the thing.
God is the way.
God is the way, right? But we're going to these churches and to these establishments and we're not learning the truth about the Bible, right? We're learning that Christ was white. We're learning that he came to save all people, right? But can the captive and the captor be saved? Who needs to be saved? The captives, right?
That's right.
So give me Baruch 2 and 30. Whoever got it, Baruch 2 and 30. Right, so we don't identify with the Israelites of the Bible as a collective today, right? What would you say your ethnicity is? Black? Black African American. Both of those terms that have been coined by the white man to call you black and call you African American is not what the God of the Bible called you, right? When our people got taken from the west coast of Africa in the 1600s, right? They were not calling themselves black or African American because they never reached the Americas, right? The term African American was coined in, I believe, like the 70s or the 80s. So we weren't even using that term to call ourselves. We had an identity, but that identity was stripped from us. That identity was taken from us. That identity is now being perpetrated by the white man who lives in our land. You ever heard of the Jewish people? Right? If you told me I'm acting childish, what does that mean? I'm acting like a child, right? So the Jewish people, they're acting like Jews. You feel me? Does that make sense? So the true Jew of the Bible, the term Jew comes from the tribe of Judah, right? Or the land of Judah, which was 3 tribes, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, right? The southern kingdom, okay? Now, what was we getting?
Baruch 2 and 30.
Give me Baruch 2 and 30.
Baruch 2 and 30. For I knew that they would not hear me because it is a stiff-necked people.
Are our people hard-headed? We hard-headed, right? And that's how God made us. Read.
But in the land of their captivities.
Are you captive here in America? Were your ancestors brought here captive here in America? Yes, right? So this is the Bible speaking to us. It says in the land of our captivities, what?
They shall remember themselves.
This is where we're going to recall who we are. This is why we feel like we are better than most people. Because we know we are the salt of the earth, as the Bible calls us. We know that we got the flavor. We know that we got the NBA, NFL, all these sports, we got them on lockdown. Us as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans.
Right.
Right? Who cooks better than our people? You don't know nobody that cooks better than no black people. You got any white friends? You ever go over their house? Listen, my mother is white, right? I grew up eating unseasoned food. I finally got the taste of some, you know what I'm saying? Some real nice food, and I was like, Mom, you got to throw some seasoning in that mac and cheese. The Kraft box ain't doing it. Because you throw it in the oven, you got the seasoning in there, you throw the broil on, you got the crust. I'm eating it right out the pot. Just nasty, right? No seasoning. And that's the thing. Our people, we're the salt of the earth. And in the Bible it says, in the land of our captivity shall we remember ourselves. Give me Deuteronomy 28, verse 15. Give me 1, 15, and 68. What you got?
Deuteronomy 28 and 1.
Hold that. Give me that.
This is Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 4.
Let's bring it out.
And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thy heritage that I gave thee.
So we have discontinued from the heritage that the Most High has given us, right? The Israelites were in captivity in the land of Egypt. Moses went to Pharaoh and said, let my people go. What are we still crying today? Let our people go, right? Because would you say you're still captive here in America? We don't have no military power, right? Our strength and our power, right, comes from our hoods. But what's wrong with our hoods is our hoods are fighting each other. And that's a curse on our people to have an evil eye towards each other, right? Keep reading that.
And I will cause thee to serve thy enemy.
To serve who?
Thy enemy.
So God is going to cause us to discontinue from our heritage and to serve our enemies.
In the land which thou knowest not.
In the land which thou knowest not.
For ye have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever.
So our Father is upset because we stopped following the guidelines that he laid out for us. Just like your parents would be upset if you stopped following their house rules. Go put your feet on your mom's couch. I guarantee you should go upside your head, right? And that's what God is doing to us right now. We have our feet on God's couch. Muddy shoes and all, just scraping it, right? Doing all sorts of things that he told us not to do. And then we wonder why we're on the bottom. And the reason why we're on the bottom is because we discontinued from our heritage that he gave us, right? You got that?
Yeah, I got a precept too.
Okay, what's the precept?
Isaiah 65.
Go ahead.
Isaiah 65 and 2. I spread out my hands all the day unto a rebellious people.
And that's us. We've been a rebellious people. God has got his hands out. Come back home. Stop wanting to be under people. Stop wanting to be in subjugation. Stop subjecting yourselves to these people who are supposed to serve in you. Read.
Which walketh in a way that was not good after their own thoughts.
After our own thoughts. We don't grow up learning God's laws. We don't grow up learning what God requires of us as his people, right? We grow up in these church systems that have been set up by who? The world, right? And the world hasn't been given God's knowledge, right? But more predominantly, our enemies set up these church systems.
That's right.
Right? The white man, as the Bible, as he so calls himself, right? But the Bible calls him our enemy. Give me 28:1.
Deuteronomy 28 and 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently.
So hearken means to listen. It says it shall come to pass, meaning it's going to happen, right? Prophecy. You heard of prophecy before? Right? Prophecy means that something is declared before it's going to happen.
Diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
So if we listen to God,
to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
Equal to.
Above all nations of the earth.
So God says if we follow God's law, statutes, and commandments that he gave us, he's going to set us on high above all these nations. And we obviously can see that we're not on high. And I'm going to show you why we're not on high. Read.
Verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
So if we don't listen,
to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Okay, so all these bad things are going to happen to our people, right? Who has suffered more than the Black, Hispanic, and Native American? Has a Chinese man suffered more? It took like a couple years for them to get an Asian hate bill passed.
Right.
Where's the black hate bill? Where's the Mexican hate bill?
Right.
I'm from California. California used to be part of Mexico. Now they got a border. They don't even let you into your own homeland.
Right.
How is an oppressor, a European, going to come here to the Americas, put our people into slavery, have us build the country, but they benefit? What are we benefiting from that?
They deport the Mexicans.
And now they deport, now they got, in like a couple years, they had like 85,000 children go missing at the border. Their families will never see them again. That's a curse. That's a damn curse if I ever heard of one. Imagine having children, you growing up, and you want to come back to your own homeland and you got to cross the border. They put you in a cage at the border, and then they just decide to separate the family. And you have no might in your hand. Actually, give me that in the curses.
Yep.
32.
Verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
So this is a curse in the book of Deuteronomy 28. It's the curses that the blessings and curses that the Israelites would fall under, right? And so us as a people, as a collective, we haven't listened to God. So we've been cursed as a people, and this is one of the curses. Start from the top.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
When those children are taken into the border and they're separated from their parents, they don't just disappear off the face of the earth. They get adopted into these families, right? They get traded for harvesting, right? Organ harvesting, that's a real thing.
Sex trafficking.
You feel me? And why are they organ harvesting? Because they're taking God's chosen people, the best people on the earth, and they're trying to genetically modify themselves in order to become better. Right? Keep reading that.
And thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long.
And it fails with longing. What does that mean? Your eyes shall look and fail with longing. What does that mean?
Whatever I guess you're trying to look for better in the future is not going to succeed in the process or something like that.
Something like that. What you got, brother? Like if it says the children are going to be taken out of your hands and your eyes shall look and fail with longing. What does that mean? It's accepting your fate, right? But it's like you want to do something about it, but you can't. There's no might in your hand. There's nothing you could do against this wicked country, because they have the power to separate you from your family, right? And that's something that's heartbreaking. You know what I'm saying? All these families being separated at the borders. But ultimately it comes back to us as a people. The reason why we're going through what we're going through as a people is because of us. It's not because of anybody else. These other nations that were put over us because we stopped obeying God. We stopped learning what God's law, statutes, and commandments were, what he requires of us.
Baruch 4:6. You were sold to the nations, not for your destruction, but because ye moved God to wrath.
So he hasn't destroyed us as a people. Even though they call us the minority, we are the majority, right? But because of our disobedience, he's moved to wrath. Give me verse 1.
Baruch 4:1. This is the book of the commandments of God.
So this is the book of the commandments of God.
And the law that endureth forever.
And the law that endureth forever. Keep reading. Give me
all
Proverbs
they that
1
keep
and 21.
it shall come to life.
So if you keep God's law, statutes, and commandments, you will come to life, right? And that's spiritual, right? Keep reading.
But such as leave it shall die.
So if you leave it, you shall die. And that's not always a physical death, right? It's a spiritual death. We, as a collective of people, we are spiritually dead out here. Nobody that loves themselves and loves their people would kill themselves or kill their people, right? You wouldn't sell drugs to your people. You wouldn't prostitute your women, right? You wouldn't beat your wife. All these things is prominent in our communities. All from us not listening to God. So it says, if you keep God's law, statutes, and commandments, you will come to life. You will start to realize, I am set apart. Right. I am a holy people.
That's right.
I am supposed to love my brother. I am supposed to love my sister.
That's right.
I'm supposed to treat my wife as a delicate flower, right? And I'm supposed to treat my husband as the head of my household.
Right.
But we don't have heads of households. We just got niggas running the streets.
Right.
Right? Leaving their children. I grew up, my dad was in jail when I was a child. I grew up without my father for a long time. And I had resentment towards him. But I didn't know the era that he was growing up in. I didn't understand it because I was a child, right? But now that I have a better understanding as an adult, I'm like, all right, Dad, like, you know, I forgive you for the things that you went through. I forgive you for those things because you were blinded, right? You were living in ignorance. You feel me? Give me that Proverbs.
This is Proverbs chapter 1,
54.
starting at verse 20. Wisdom crieth without. She utters her voice in the street.
And that's what we're doing. Wisdom. The wisdom of God is his law, statutes, and commandments. And he crieth out in the streets. Read.
She crieth in the chief places of concord. In the opening of the gates. In the city she utters her words, saying, how long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity?
It's like, how long will you stupid niggas, Hispanics, and Native Americans love simplicity? Why are you not coming back